Welcome back to Sniff It and Tell It, everyone. My name is Ethan, and today we are going to be going through my top 3 fragrances for the end of summer / the beginning of fall. Now, this video will be breaking down into 2 parts, mainly because there are some fruity scents that I want to, break down, and there are some darker vanilla scents I also want to break down as well. So let's get this started with the first one being, and it's kind of funny that I'm going to actually bring this cologne out because I did review this in the last video, but starting off with Mango Ice. Now, this is honestly an all-time favorite. Even though I just got it recently, it's climbed up the list for me. I'm gonna put it at number 3 because although while it's so citrusy, it's smooth, it has a nice sensation to it that makes me feel like I want to drink it out of the bottle. Obviously, I'm not gonna do that, but it's just one of those perfumes is I spent a good portion of money. Granted, only $40, but every dollar was honestly worth it with this perfume. Again, that mango stands out. The cedarwood, you could definitely smell it. I love the fact that we got bottle design makes you feel like you struck literal gold here. It's honestly a great smelling scent. Reasons why it's not number 2 and number 1 for me, because I do think it's a bit strong, mainly on the nose, not when it comes to headache kind of things, but when I first opened it, it lasted into my nose for a very long time. And not that I didn't really mind that, but now whenever I can just look at this bottle, it's just it's ingrained, you know what I mean? The smell's just it's just there. And not that I don't entirely like that, it's just it kind of just feels like it's just a bit too much for me. Now, is this a compliment getter? I think it personally is. I've gotten a few wearing this. Again, it's a nice fruity scent. It doesn't lead too feminine nor too masculine either. I do think it's a nice blend of both. So I just think this is again, a fantastic way to either end the summer or begin the fall. If you're going back to school, this can be a great option. Granted, you're in a box for at least 7 hours. If it's high school, if it's university, I do think you have more flexibility depending on which classes you have. Again, this is fantastic, but again, for a longevity of the day, smelling this for 7 hours might drive someone crazy. Me personally, as much as I love Mango Ice, I don't know if I want to smell it for 7 hours. So hey, you know what? It's up to you, honestly. But longevity wise, it's great. Performance, great. Silage, it's fantastic, 100%. Number 3. Now, moving on for number 2, we have a Lattafa fragrance. Now, this fragrance I was very skeptical to get at first because I saw some reviews and it's oh, this is very old smelling. It's it smells like it's back in the early 2000s, even 90s. And I'm first off, I wasn't even born in the late 90s, so there's that. But to me, I'm I kind of don't mind those smells, but I was very skeptical because they're oh, this doesn't really smell that good. But I saw some other reviews that were saying, oh, this is actually has a really nice citrus scent to it as well. It's kind of classy in a way, makes you really stand out in terms of being a gentleman and everything like that. So I was okay, let me give this a whirl. And I think you guys know where I'm going with this, by the way. We have Latafa Vintage Radio here. This is going to be my number 2. This fragrance, honestly, off first open, I kind of see why some people were hey, this is kind of old smelling. But after a few sprays and after you let them macerate a little bit, it's truly something divine. There's no way else I could really explain it. Think of going to the Brick or Leon's with your parents and one of the salesmen tries to sell you something. They're kind of weird, but at least they smell good, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. But the best way I can describe this fragrance is honestly citrus and wood in a bottle. I know Mango Ice basically had the same kind of scent, but going off of what I truly smell from this bottle, it is honestly those two just combine. It's wood and a wide variety of fruits. Think of plum, yes, plum and wood just combined and had a baby. You know what I mean? This is what it would be. It'll be vintage radio. And the key words of my dad, it's a very manly scent. I think though that this is mainly unisex too. I think any gender could honestly wear this and pull it off. It does again, depend on your kind of skin type, but it can work. Now, I don't want to look on fragrance review websites because I want to make my own formulated opinion and give it to you guys just straight up and off the reel, right? So this is number 2 because although it is good, me personally, I don't think it's that strong. Now, what I mean by that is, you guys know how I mentioned Mango Ice is very prominent on my nose. This while I can spot the scent, I don't know if projection wise it can reach. Like, I know I'm wearing it, right? I don't know I'm wearing it for like maybe like an hour or two, but depending on like the person that's sitting either across from you, I don't know if it can reach that far. Again, longevity is great, but I don't know if it can reach that far in terms of like the first initial couple sprays. However, though, I don't usually spray my colognes like that much. Like, I only spray like maybe 2 or 3 depending on what I'm doing during the day. But that's mainly like my go-to amount of spray. So maybe that's why, and also maybe it's my skin type 2. That could be also a reason, but yeah, that's the main thing for me, honestly. Like, it's just like the projection. I don't think it really, captures the other person or the other people that are around you that much. But again, it's not a bad scent by any means. This is honestly something super, super fantastic. So number 2, great fragrance. So for the last fragrance, we have a goat. I think it's the top one in my list, clearly, since it's the last one. First off, I just want to preface this by saying I did see a lot of reviews on this fragrance online, and a lot of people were hyping it up, and I was very hesitant to buy that because when people hype a lot of things up, sometimes it might fall flat and it might not be for you. But this is one of those fragrances where the public was generally right, and this fragrance is none other than Afnan Supremacy Collector's Edition. This fragrance right here, this is it. This is honestly the fragrance. I am so happy that I actually made the purchase and I just pulled the trigger and bought it. Like, it was just genuinely that good of a purchase to get. Now, off rip, I'm gonna say it right here. People might be mad at me for saying this, but I don't get that huge whiff of pineapple. I smell it very, very lightly, but it's not all there. I mainly get like a kind of woody / vanilla, earthy kind of scent from this. I do get the citrus vibe, don't get me wrong, but I think it leans more towards that woody scent. But I just need to smell it again because it's just that good. Hold on, man, hold on. This is Sniff and Tell after all. yeah, it's like you just got out of a shower and like, let me just put some nice cologne on. It's like, this is just that one right here. Now, is this good for dates, school, work, playing basketball? Yes, that's just straight up yes. This can work in whatever you're doing. Generally, whatever. It's smooth, seductive, but also not too hard on the nose. Like, you won't get a migraine, I do think, anyway. At least to me, it's not too overbearing either. It feels it's heavy but light at the same time. So this Afnan Supremacy Collector's Edition is number 1 for me. It just has a good bit of everything. Not too crazy, not too wild. It's just a perfect balance of everything. And I'm super thankful that I was actually able to pull the trigger and get it. And happy that, it turned out the way it did. So that is going to go ahead and do it for part 1 of this video. Stay tuned for part 2 because I do have some extra heavy hitters that do lean more towards the vanilla dark side of the fragrant type that that is not in this video. I will say they're pretty, like, they're in. I'll say they're in. Like, when I first got them, I was like, no way. Like, it felt so weird buying it. But now that I have them, like, yeah. Now I will say that the next fragrances that I will review in the next video are, again, on the darker side of things in terms of smells, but also I do think they're kind of more for the later fall / like early winter. So we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but it'll make sense when you guys see the video. So I would like to know what you guys think of these 3 fragrances that I have rated for you in the comment section below, as well as what other fragrances would you like me to try. So from Sniff It and Tell It, this is Ethan signing off.